Hi guys, coming at you here today with a patch 9.2 Marksman Hunter Mega Guide. I'm really excited to bring you guys this one because I've been spending a lot of time working on this one. It's been very fun to make, and Marksman looks to be absolutely insane come 9.2. Especially in AOE situations, the single target doesn't look terrible. It's not wonderful. It's okay, but AOE is where we thrive. Before we get into the guide, though, I just wanted to say thank you so much for all the support and love you guys have been giving me. It has been amazing. We've jumped like over 300 subscribers in the last like 2 weeks, pretty much. Just mostly off the BM videos, so I figured I'd make the Marksman video as well. As always, if you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button, you never have to watch another video of mine again, but it helps me out tremendously. Once I hit 1,000 subscribers, I can finally get the channel monetized and, might get a little bit of money for like a burger here and there, some lunch sometimes. So that's kind of my goal. And we're almost there. We're like less than 200, I think now. It's incredible. So once again, thank you guys so much for the support, because like this is, it's really, really cool. It's really fun. So thank you a lot. But anyways, let's get into the video, shall we? To start this one off, we have our Marksman Hunter Mega Guide. Here are the sims. I just wanted to get these out of the way to what you can expect to get. For AOE M+, we're going to be playing Kyrian with Forge Light Prime Mechanicos. We're hitting 29k consistently, but honestly, if this is like M+, you're going to be hitting like... I just got the 2-piece on my main, right? This is 4-piece sims. With the 2-piece, I'm pulling 100k damage in some packs, and it's incredible. It's so bursty. It's really, really strong. You're going to really love it. Even once you have the 2-piece, it feels great. It's so fun to play. In single target, obviously, we're not the best single target spec. We have BM, that's pretty decent, but Marksman is it falls behind. I think we can all agree with that. But the nice thing about Marksman is our AOE compensation. So for single target, you can play Dreamweaver. You can also play Mechanicos. You can also play Capelagos. Najda does sim a little bit higher, but I don't think the damage is enough to warrant going anything other than Dreamweaver, or if you want to stay Kyrian, staying Kyrian is fine. I mean, it's like 300 damage or something like that, but... anytime there's like a second target or a third target, this is where Kyrian's going to shine anyways. So that's what we're picking Marksman for mostly, is the AoE. So Dreamweaver's not a bad option. Pretty much I would go Night Fae or Kyrian. That's what this guide's going to cover. So speaking of what this guide is going to cover, we're going to go over talents, covenant choices, Soulbinds, conduits, legendaries, tier set, stat priority, and our rotation. As for the single target talents, we're going to start out with the first row, Master Marksman. This is a really, really strong ability. Gives us passive damage over time just from our crits. And we're going to be critting all the time because we just have a lot of stacking crit naturally. From both our covenant and just the way it works, we naturally want to stack crit just for kill shot, scaling, things like that. For the tier 2 row, we want to take Careful Aim. This gives us 50% extra aim shot damage on targets above 70% health. That's a massive amount of damage, especially because these are going to be critting a lot of the time. It's just a lot of damage. It's really, really strong. Highly recommend you take Careful Aim. It actually sims higher than Explosive Shot in AoE now, assuming the targets are above 70% health, of course. But if you start the pack with a Careful Aim shot across the pack with the Kyrian Resonating Arrow, it's really good damage. So you want to take this pretty much all the time. As for our row 3, it's pretty much dealer's choice. Trailblazer is really good in situations where you're moving a lot and you're not attacking things. Example of this would be Sylvanas' Bridges from last patch, where you're constantly moving. Natural Mending is really good. Passive cooldown reduction on our heal spell is wonderful. We don't have great defensive, so having a heal on top of our pot and on top of our soul stones is really good. And we'll also have Kyrian Potion, so we'll actually have 4 ways to heal now, which is pretty solid, actually. We have Camouflage. This is really good for M+. This is probably what you want to take generally for M+. That way you don't have to use your damage, but you can use your damage pot on pulls, and you can use Camouflage to get from pack to pack. It's really good. Of course, the new affix does have woe, and there are some ways to play around using woe with invis, so you might not ever have to use invis bots. We'll see what the routes end up delving into or devolving into. But for now, pick what you want in this row. It's dealer's choice. As for the steady focus streamline chimera shot row, you're going to want to take steady focus, even in AoE. The haste is actually more valuable than streamline is because we're not going to be running surging shots legendary. We're going to be running unblinking vigil. Streamline is really, really good with surging shots. It falls off tremendously without running surging shots legendary. That's why we take steady focus. The haste is really good. Gives us a lot more, a lot faster casts. Lets us fit more things into volley. It's just tremendously really good talent. Born to be Wild, Post Haste, and Binding Shackles row. You can pick what you want. Binding Shackles, I always feel like is a little bit too weak because the way it works is once you bind something, it does less damage to you. It doesn't do less damage to your tank, though, and the tank is the one going to be taking damage from the mobs that you're binding, specifically in M+. But I could see some uses for this in raid, or also ways to use this in raid. I don't think Binding Shackle is really ever worth taking, but you can if you want. Born to be Wild reduces the cooldown on Turtle and also aspect of the Cheetah, which is our movement speed ability. Those are pretty good, pretty valuable cooldown reduction. I almost never take this over Post Haste, though. Post Haste generally is just too good. Not only does it give you this movement speed whenever you disengage, which is solid for getting around and repositioning, but also it frees you from movement impairing effects, whether that be slows or binds, roots. It gets rid of all of that. As long as you're not stunned, you can disengage out of it pretty much. There's some exceptions to that, fear, charm, things like that. But for the most part, disengage will get you out of most sticky situations. Moving on to the second to last row with lethal shots, Deadeye, and double tap. Double tap is going to be our go-to here. And lethal shots is actually showing some potential to be playable, especially with a Kyrian build. But double tap just tends to be better. And the reason for that really is because double tap lines up with our resonating arrow. So every minute we're getting this empowered double tap, or we're getting this aim shot that's empowered by double tap. But then it's also going to be empowered by extra flat damage from the Kyrian conduit, and then also crit from the resonating arrow itself. So double tap just really, really empowers a resonating arrow to pop off. It's really good damage. Double tap lines up nicely. It's exactly what you want to play with Kyrian. For now, there are lethal shot kind of theory crafted builds, but right now they're not simming quite as high as double tap, so I would take double tap in this row. For the last row, you're going to want to run lock and load on single target. This is single target. I should have prefaced this. Lock and load gives us passive, basically aim shots that'll proc. They'll be instant cast aim shots. They're really, really strong. And it works nicely with our legendary that's already giving us free aim shots. It's pretty good. It's okay for it's our best talent for single target. It's okay for AoE. For AoE, you're gonna want to take basically everything that you were taking before, but this time you just want to take volley. Volley is just tremendously good. There are arguments for explosive shots with Night Fae, but really volley, careful aim in that row is typically better. Covenants. We are going to be running, I think I spoiled this earlier, but we're going to be running Kyrian and we're going to be running Night Fae. These two are our strongest covenants by far. They do a lot. They're the highest simming, so that's why we're going to run these. But the Soulbinds we're going to be running, we'll start with Night Fae. We're going to start with Kyrian, who we're going to be running because she has her Wild Hunt's Tactics ability coupled with Wild Hunt's Stratagem. Wild Hunt Tactics basically increases our damage to targets above 75% health by 10% damage, which is really good. And then also it gives us movement speed when our spells and abilities are empowered that way. But also, whenever we use Wild Hunt Tactics, we hit something like that. For 1 minute, we get this passive Wild Hunt Stratagem that says the next time you damage an enemy who is below 35% health, you're going to do 5% more damage to that target for 10 seconds. So you're basically getting extra damage above their 75% health and then also below 35% health. So it's really good, especially for AOE and M+. This is what we want to use Kyrian for. But the real icing on the cake here is that we get First Strike, which is really good when paired with Wild Hunt Tactics, which already gives us bonus damage. First Strike will give us 25% extra crit for 5 seconds when we damage someone before they damage us. It's really, really strong. For her tree, we're going to be using Deadly Chain, which gives trick shots secondary damage, which means after your aim shot hits one target, all the other targets that aim shot or rapid fire hits, it's going to be increased by, this says 16%. I think it goes higher. I think you can actually get this to 18% or 17%, but it's a lot of extra damage. And then we're going to also be running Spirit Attunement that allows wild spirits to last 3 seconds longer and deal 21% increased damage. This is really good with our Covenant Lego that lets wild spirits hit twice under 4 targets, or under 5 targets, so 4 targets or less. So those coupled together can make wild spirits do absolutely crazy, crazy damage. This is a really, really strong AoE tree. However, we're probably going to want to play Mechanos more, but this is an option if you want to stick with a Night Fae Wild Spirits kind of 2-minute cooldown style. For Dreamweaver, our other option, and the highest single target simming option, we're going to pick her for 3 reasons, really. She has Pod Tender, which is a cheat death once every 10 minutes. Really good cheat death. She has Field of Blossoms, which allows her to basically every time you use Wild Spirits, you get 15% haste, which is super, super strong. Especially, and we really want haste now, just for the way it works with, we want to be able to rail out aim shots quickly, because we're going to be over capping aim shots a lot if we can't get them out quickly, due to the way we're going to be getting free aim shots back from our legendary. And finally, Dream Delver, her last capstone trait, allows us to deal damage. It increases our damage by 1% every 4 seconds that we're fighting someone, up to 3%. So it's basically 3% more damage if you're fighting one target for 12 or more seconds, which is, basically raids or, bosses and plus stuff like that. For her tree, we're going to run Spirit Attunement as well. We're going to run Sharpshooter's Focus, which allows True Shot to last. This says 38% longer. Once you get the conduits all the way up, I think it's 40 to 42% longer, which is really strong. And then Powerful Precision. This allows precise shots, which is whenever you use an aim shot, you get an empowered multi-shot or arcane shot. So it's that damage. It allows that damage to be increased by, it says 14%. Once again, it'll probably go 15, 16%, something like that. For our Kyrian Soulbinds, we're going to want to run Pelagos in single target because of his abilities. Combat Meditation every time we use our Kyrian Arrow. We're going to get 315 Mastery for 10 seconds. And it'll also spew out little orbs that you can pick up to increase the duration of Mastery. I think it's 3 seconds per orb. He also gives us Better Together, an ability during combat. Moving within 3 yards of a party or raid member inspires both of you, increasing mastery by 40 by 1 for 1 minute. That's going to be constantly up. That's literally just for 40 free mastery, essentially, at all times. And then finally, Newfound Resolve. At any moment during combat, there will be a low chance that doubt will manifest for 10 seconds, and directly facing that doubt will overcome it, granting you 10% primary stat for 15 seconds, and also 10% stamina. But the primary stat is more important, in my opinion. This is really strong, but I will caveat here, and it's kind of hard to use in some situations. Sometimes it will spawn behind you, so you literally have to face yourself away from the boss, which means you can potentially lose damage there in exchange for 10% primary stat. The primary stat is really good, and the 10% stamina, but the trade-off of having to turn around and look at it sometimes can be a little rough, but this is still the highest Kyrian single target Soulbind that you can use, so he's pretty good. You'll want to run Deadly Chain, Powerful Precision, and Enfeebled Mark. Basically, we're running Deadly Chain because you get passive trick shots from our tier set. I know this looks weird, but it actually is bugged right now, so it does increase the damage of the secondary target. I'm sorry, not the secondary target, the primary target. So it's actually pretty decent. I don't know why it works like that. I don't think it's supposed to work like that, but it does, or at least it does on PTR. So that's why we have that there. Powerful Precision, once again, we talked about this a little bit earlier, increases the damage of our next arcane shot or multi-shot by an additional 14%. And then Enfeebled Mark, this is the real kicker with Kyrian. This is why it scales better than Night Fae. Your attacks and abilities deal 10.3% increased damage to enemies inside Resonating Arrow. Pretty good. Flat damage, always just extremely good. It'll actually end up going a little bit higher. As you can see here, the white text means this is not empowered conduit, so it'll actually probably go maybe 12, 13, 14% later on once everything is upgraded all the way. For Mechanos, this is who we want to play for AOE or M+. Braun's Call to Action, every 75 damaging or healing spells will summon Braun. He's this awesome looking robot guy. He will knock back enemies on arrival and then do attacks. The attacks are kind of low damage, but they're okay. It's a couple thousand damage each time he attacks. And it'll also heal you or your allies for 30 seconds. So it's not bad. Soul Glow Spectrometer. Damaging or healing a target analyzes its merits over 15 seconds and increases your damage or healing to it by 1%, increased by an additional 1% every 3 seconds. So basically, you get 4% extra damage to a target as you're fighting it over 15 seconds. So that's pretty good. And then Effective Anima Accelerator. Activating your Kyrian class ability will release a blast of overcharged anima at your target's location, dealing a little bit of damage, basically arcane damage split evenly across all targets, and it will reduce the cooldown of your Kyrian class ability by 4 seconds per affected enemy to a maximum of 20 seconds. This is why we run this in AOE and M+, because when you're hitting multiple targets, you're getting your Kyrian arrow up significantly faster. Basically becomes a 40-second cooldown instead of a minute cooldown. It's really good. For the Soulbind tree, we're going to run Powerful Precision, which will increase the damage of your Arcane Shot or Multi-Shot. Enfeebled Mark, that's the flat damage increase, and then also True Shot, because it'll last 38% longer. For our tier set, our tier set is wild in AoE. It's pretty mediocre in M+, single target, but it's great in M+, great in AoE, great in anything you're hitting 2 or more targets, really. Our trick shots for the 2 set, our trick shots will now increase the damage of the affected shot by 30%. And for our 4 set, spending 40 focus grants you 1 charge of trick shot. That's pretty good because you're going to be spending 35 focus on an aim shot, and you're going to be spending 20 focus on a multi-shot or an arcane shot. 35 on aimed shot, 20 on arcane or multi-shot. I don't know if that's what I said, but that's what it is. And basically, so you'll go aim shot, arcane shot, and then you'll have trick shots for your next shot, which is pretty good. But you can have 100% uptime, really, if you do it. If you start with volley, you'll have 100% uptime on trick shots. So pretty good, pretty good. Our legendaries we're going to be using are Unity for our helm. This is going to be crafted on the helm with crit mastery. And it's going to give us, depending on what we go, it can give us any of the 4 covenant abilities. I only included Night Fae and Kyrian here because those are the ones that I plan to be playing, and I think those are the strongest by far. Fragments of the Elder Antlers. When Wild Spirits hits fewer than 5 targets, there is going to be a 100% chance to cause Wild Spirits to hit twice. Really good. And then Pact of the Soul Stalkers. When your resonating arrow deals damage to a target, your party gains increased 10% damage. 10% increased critical strike chance for 10 seconds, which basically means your Kyrian arrow will, every time you cast that, you're going to get 10% crit, but then also the 5 members in your party, even if you're in a raid of 20 people, it's only the 5-minute people that are in your group will get 10% increased crit for 10 seconds. For legendaries that we're going to use outside of Unity, Secrets of the Unblinking Vigil is the main one that we're going to be using. When you gain Trick Shot's effect, you have a 50% chance to refund a charge of aim shot and cause your next aim shot not to consume any focus. It's important to note right now that on live, this says the tooltip says it has a 100% chance to refund a charge of aim shot. This is not correct. It is a 50% chance to refund a charge of aim shot and cause your next aim shot not to consume any focus. This is really, really solid because the way our trick shots will work, we're going to be constantly getting free trick shots from using 40 focus. An aim shot costs 40 focus. So you use an aim shot, you get 40 focus, you have a 50% chance to get another aim shot. It's pretty good. We'll craft this on the wrists with crit and mastery missives. Our stat priority is agility first, then crit and mastery are about even, and then haste is slightly below crit and mastery, and then verse is significantly farther down. You want to minimize verse while maximizing crit and mastery, and kind of keeping haste high but barely below the other two. That's going to be your best stat weights. Agility is obviously much better than everything else. On average, agility gives 3 to 4 DPS per point, while secondary stats usually give 2, maybe 2.5. Crit and mastery usually give like a little bit more, maybe 2.75. Haste usually gives a little bit less, 2.25, and then verse for us is like 2. So it's pretty good. This is our order: crit, mastery, haste, then verse. In terms of our AOE opener and rotation, we're going to start off with a double tap prepped before we press anything else. We're then going to press True Shot followed immediately by either Resonating Arrow if you're Kyrian or Wild Spirits if you're Night Fae. So double tap True Shot and then your Covenant ability into Volley. So this is our prep stage, okay? This is before we're doing Big Dam. We're just getting everything set up. We're getting our buffs for the things that are about to come kind of out there. We're prepping everything right now. This is like vital to get down because prep happens and you're doing nothing kind of really damage-wise. But then we hit burst phase, and this is where you're going to see numbers skyrocket if you get this combination right, okay? So double tap True Shot into Resonating Arrow, Wild Spirits, and then Volley immediately. As soon as you're able to, after pressing Volley, aim shot twice into a rapid fire. You want to fit both aim shots and the end of rapid fire into the volley window so that everything is boosted by trick shots. You'll naturally get trick shots anyways whenever you have your 4-piece tier set from the aim shots giving that much focus. But you want to make sure before then you want to try to get 2 aim shots into rapid fire into that volley window. You then want to press multi-shot into another aim shot so that at this point you've gotten 3 aim shots out. You won't have to press this multi-shot with the tier set, but without the tier set, you will have to press this multi-shot. So that's something to remember. This is our main burst area. We're getting 3 huge aim shots. We're getting a rapid fire out, and if you have the Unblinking Vigil, you can actually fit a couple more aim shots in after this. But before then, you won't be able to. So this is kind of just going in before tier set a little bit. After you've expended all of your burst, you're going to begin the recharge phase. What this is you're going to steady shot until you're, somewhat decent on focus, and then you're going to multi-shot into aim shot, okay? And the reason for this is you're building up focus so that you have passive trick shot effects with your tier set. So it's going to be multi-shot, which is going to give you, trick shots, and then it's going to be aimed shot afterwards. And you're going to follow this up with a multi-shot into rapid fire as well. And you're kind of just repeating this until basically you've gotten your cooldowns back up. You're just going to be trying to get off as many trick shot empowered aim shots as you can. It's important to note that aim shot is more valuable than rapid fire is. Aim shot does more damage overall, and therefore you want to prioritize aim shot when you can. It is important to note that rapid fire, while less damage, does give you focus back. So if you're low on focus and you're not going to be able to squeeze out like an aim shot or 2 aim shots or whatever you're trying to get at, you're going to want to rapid fire and put rapid fire on cooldown as well. Don't ever hold on to rapid fire for too long. You want to get it out when you can. But it's important that you never overcapped aim shots, because aim shot is our biggest damage source. So try to weave in rapid fires to give yourself focus back, but prioritize getting aim shots out for the maximum amount of damage. At the end of a pull, once you've gone through the burst phase, the recharge phase, and things are starting to die, maybe you have like 1 target left or 2 targets left. Once things start hitting 20% HP, kill shot on cooldown. Kill shot is one of our highest damaging abilities. It scales with crit, does extra damage from crit. It's really, really solid single target. So when things are starting to die down, you want to make sure that you're not prioritizing aim shotting. You want to prioritize kill shotting at that point. And then you can arcane shot if you just want something to die really fast and you need it to go. For our single target opener and rotation, it's going to be a very similar prep, but we are not going to be using volley. We're going to be using lock and load instead for the free aim shots. So we're going to begin with double tap into true shot, into immediately dropping either resonating arrow or wild spirits, depending on which covenant you are. And as soon as that prep phase is done, you're going to go into your burst, which is going to be 2 aim shots in a row, rapid fire, and then another aim shot. And then you're going to go back and forth between aim shot and rapid fire on cooldown, prioritizing aim shot charges, but rapid firing when you're getting close to low focus. That way you never run out of focus and you can always cast the aim shots that you need. In the middle of this, you can fit in 2 steady shots to keep up our haste buff. It's actually worth doing even in the Wild Spirits window, because the haste buff allows us to cast more. And it's also just really valuable for focus regen, which is important. Whenever you're outside of your burst phase and you want to prioritize keeping up those 2 the haste buff from the double steady shot. But other than that, you want to cycle between aim shot and arcane shot. So the combination of aim shot and arcane shot will give you, it'll spend 55 focus, but it'll give you a trick shot empowered aim shot next, or rapid fire, which is important, not for the trick shot aspect, but our trick shot are all abilities that are shot with the trick shot effect will do 30% increased damage from our tier set. So for that reason, it's important that we're aim shotting into arcane shotting. That way every aim shot is 30% more powerful, or rapid fire. You want to rapid fire not on cooldown, but when you're getting low focus. That way you can keep up aim shot charges and you can constantly repeat spam aim shot, arcane shot. At the end of the pack, your highest priority ability is kill shot. And yeah, that's what you want to press for everything else. So. All right, well, that pretty much concludes the video. I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it all the way to the end, you were a superstar and a legend. If you didn't, but you just skipped around to the parts you need, you were still awesome, and I still appreciate you. Thank you really, guys, so much. It means the world to me that you guys are enjoying my content, watching it. And let me know if you guys want me to make something else. Leave a comment what you thought. If you have any things that you might change or might think would be better or different, let me know. I'm not censoring you. You guys say what you need to say in the comments. No one's holding you back. So yeah. Anyways, I really want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. Sincerely, just thank you for watching. Have a good day. Peace out.